Hey there, Disney fans. You're listening to the Mouse Ears Podcast, your go-to source for all things travel, but mostly Disney. Sponsored by Fairy Tale Journeys Travel. Whether you're a first-time visitor or a seasoned Disney pro, we're here to bring you the latest news, insider secrets, and fun stories from the happiest and most magical places on Earth. Make sure to give us a like and follow on whichever platform you are listening to or watching us. And don't forget to check out the mouseearsblog.com where you can dive even deeper into Disney trips, trip planning, and all of the park magic in one location. Now, let's jump into today's episode because the magic starts right now. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mouse Ears Podcast. My name is Kelton. I'm one of your fabulous co-hosts here on this great podcast we have with me. I've got a couple of other great people. We got Steph. Hello, Steph.
Hello, Kelton.
And we have Brooks as well. Hello, Brooks.
Heidi ho, Kelton.
Unfortunately, Jen is not with us. She is, we feel for her on this day. She's dealing with some internet issues. So, in the fashion that we are actually going to have to pivot on this episode. And that didn't go, of course, because it's chopped for some reason.
Pivot.
We had a great episode lined up. And then we didn't want to leave Jen out, so we're having to completely switch things over. So this week, we're going over some Disney cruise tips from a first-timer. Now, you got to be wondering, well, who's the first-timer that went on a Disney cruise ship? And that would be me, your host here. Host with the most. With my other two fabulous people who are going to help me through this train wreck of an episode. But I guess we don't really even have a trivia question because that was kind of built towards the other episode. Do we want to say it? Do we not?
Oh, I can come. I have one. I have my Disney trivia question that I keep tucked in for rainy days.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
Brooks, we're going Brooks for trivia.
All right. What is Donald Duck's middle name?
Oh, I've heard this one before.
You may have heard it from me. No Googling.
You stopped me. You stopped me.
But you know, we always do these trivia questions, and as always, the trivia question is brought to you by Fairy Tale Journeys Travel. So next time you want to book a Disney cruise, fits together. Let the agents at Fairy Tale Journeys Travel take care of all the details for a stress-free experience at no additional cost to you. So when you book with them, not only do you get expert advice like you're going to get tonight, but you can also receive up to $1,000 of onboard credit. This offer is exclusive to bookings made with Fairy Tale Journeys Travel. So contact them today and let them know that the podcast sent you. And enjoy a magical Disney cruise getaway. Back to you, Kelton.
I will say it definitely was magical. And being a Royal Caribbean cruiser, there are some solid key differences that you get. Plus, we did a lot of new things, as well for because Casey and I are really the only two, that have cruised. Kenny hadn't cruised yet, so this was even his very first cruise. So,
and now to get his take on it. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I just want to say before we get so into this episode that, like, when we all, as in the host of the podcast, found out that Kelton was going on a Disney cruise, like, everything stopped. We couldn't believe it. The loyal to royal big honcho over here, who just all things royal, was going on a Disney cruise. I mean, the group chat blew up.
It really did. It really did. I know.
It was very exciting for us. And not only that, but Kelton was awesome enough to share pictures with us while he was on his trip. I mean, we got to see, not physically in person, but throughout his trip, just how excited he was to be on there. So I don't know who had the bigger smile in those pictures, if it was Kelton or if it was Kenny, his kid. So
Probably
we
Kenny.
will.
So,
Well,
no,
we'll find
you're
out.
right. Well, maybe we'll have to ask Kenny on the next episode as soon as I get
There
home,
were tears,
from
man.
this work
There
trip.
were tears coming out of your eyes.
So I will get to that one. But okay. So I don't even know how to get
So
into this. So we're just gonna start.
I'll say this. What so what cruise ship did you go on? Because there are multiple Disney cruise ships.
There are 6 currently, and we're getting our 7th, the Destiny, in November of this year. So, Brooks, great question. We went on the Disney Magic. A little bit of a backstory because I've got a great story to go with this one. It's going to be a lot of stories. The Disney Magic was Disney Cruise Line's very first ship in 1998. So I was 7 when the ship started. Okay. So let me put it this way. We've cruised enough, uh, cruising since really 2016. And our first cruise was Royal Caribbean's Enchantment of the Sea. It's actually going out of Tampa right now on some Western Caribbean itineraries. So when we pulled up to Galveston, I should say this, we had a 6-night itinerary out of the port of Galveston in Galveston, Texas. And we had 4 cruising days with a stop in the Grand Caymans, Grand Cayman Island, and a stop at Cozumel. So we've been to Cozumel plenty of times, no big deal. We had not been to the Grand Cayman, so we were kind of looking forward to that. Now, who went on this trip? I'm so glad you asked. It was myself, Casey, and Kenny. So, and then we had such a great deal that I even called my parents because my parents are the Disney cruises because they live 20 minutes from Port Canaveral. So, we're in the Orlando area. In a year and a half, they've been cruising DCL. Well, now this was their 3rd ship. They've done the Wish, they've done the Dream, and now the Disney Magic. So they flew in. We all piled in Casey's car, drove on down to the Port of Galveston. Now, when we pulled up to park, I kid you not, I looked over at the ship through the fog that Galveston had, and I said, "Oh dear, that's small." Because I'm used to being on much larger ships. The World Caribbean's got some bigger ships. So I was looking a little nervous because I was thinking, oh dear, what's going to happen with, am I going to get seasick? Because the very first cruise I went on was Sovereign of the Seas, Royal Caribbean in 2007. Mom, if you're listening, correct me if I'm wrong. It might be that. But it could be even older. However, this was a small ship, y'all. There's a plus and a minus to being on a small ship. The biggest con is that you might feel more of the rocking of the way, than the water. Now, if it's rough, it doesn't matter. If you're on the Disney Magic or the Icon of the Seas from Royal Caribbean, you're going to feel the ship move if the waters are rough. That's just how it goes, right? I was really concerned on this one. So we're going to start with that. But the plus on it was that it took you no time to walk from the bow to the stern of the ship. I'm talking no time at all. So that was great. Um, let's go ahead. First impressions of the ship. Now, the ship was built in 1998. Y'all, she looked good. I mean, the shape that she was in, there was very minimal rust all around in the guest areas. Uh, and I don't wish I remembered. So the coloring, so the design of the ship, because we took a tour of, talking about the backstory, the design of the ship was kind of designed after the kind of a cartoon ship sailing through. It's kind of how it's designed with the swirls and the swoops and all of that other stuff. And then, of course, the coloring, really going after making mess. However, the bottom of the ship is not the color black. For those that don't know or do know, what is the color? It is a type of blue, and I really wish I remember what the actual name of it is. Steph, do you know? Have you taken one of those tours? I can't think of what it is.
I've taken the tours. I couldn't tell you what the name is. It starts with an M, or at least that's what's starts with an M, I feel, because that just seems that's sticking out in my head. We'll look it up for you. Keep going though.
It's a blank blue is what it, and it's a very, very, very dark blue. But the history behind it was in the Imagineering office. One of the young ladies was wearing that color dress, floor length dress, and the Imagineers loved the color, and so that's what they did. No, so yes,
The distinct blue color on Disney Cruise Line ship is called Monica Blue.
Monica Blue, that's what it is.
I knew there was an
Monica
M,
Blue.
and then we've got Mickey Shoe Yellow. So you got Mickey Shoe Yellow, Monica Blue, and then you got some white and red in there. Yeah. There you go, Kelton.
No go away green on this ship, let me tell you. So that's kind of my first impressions. We got on the ship. I mean, y'all, Disney magic started. So we got to the terminal, which is one that everybody uses. Royal Carnival, Disney, MSC. I think even Norwegian does when they have a ship in port. So it did have a little bit of that Disney flair up with the roll-up banners and the cast members. It was fantastic. I mean, the magic started as soon as we stepped off the bus to get in line. I want to talk about this. When they have you pick a port arrival time, y'all, they ain't messing around. You do not go into that building until it is your port arrival time. Ours was at 1:30, and I believe we got to the port, the actual terminal, right around 1 o'clock, 1:10. So we stood in the line for about 20 minutes. They let us in about 1:20. But when they did, I mean, it was smooth sailing. We got your port check-in, paper with your QR code, where you put it in your wallet, your iPhone. That was easy to check. In Casey's passport and his birth certificate. There was no big deal there. And then I was walking on the ship from there. I see Steph typing, so I wanted to see what her question was. Oh, just a great job. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. So we get through the terminal, nice and easy, going onto the ship. It's just like walking onto the train station at the Magic Kingdom. You step onto the ship, and of course, they've got people there. They announce your presence. You are true royalty when you step on the boat. Sorry. True royalty. I think it said something along the lines of Disney magic, welcoming the Ivers-Osthus family. They can't pronounce Ivers-Osthus. Yes, Brooks.
I was going to ask that they pronounced y'all's name correctly.
Absolutely not.
Well, it's not just like the one person, the MC, that's announcing your name as you're walking in. You've got rows of cast members, of crew members, applauding you and welcoming you. And Kelton, if you're like me, you probably walked in there and just the tears are just immediate, because you feel like this emotional, like it's just pure happiness. I mean, you've been on cruises before, and they don't announce you like that. They don't welcome you like that. I mean, yes, you're excited, but this is like the most pure joy you could possibly get, such as when you're watching Happily Ever After fireworks. It's just, you're in awe.
Or wishes. Same. Yeah.
Yes. Please continue.
No, I mean, you're right. It truly was. It was magical. I don't think there's any other word to put it besides
So you were
magical.
on the Magic. Did you have
I was.
characters also in the Grand Hall greeting you?
No. So when we got on the ship, I had seen videos of, Mickey, Minnie, or Donald up on the stairway as soon as you walk in. We did not know. We also boarded at, 1:30, 1:45. So it may have been in the middle of the switch. I'm not real sure. But there actually was a character. I want to say it may have been Chip and Dale. We entered on deck three. Then I think they were up on deck four above us, green, green guests, or having a meet and greet. So that was on the boat. We had just got on the boat, and rooms are usually ready about 1:30. I think, and that seems to be what was it for you guys, Steph, when you were on 3 to 4? Really? Yeah, I mean, when we got on that, they had just made the announcement that rooms were ready, so we headed down. Our room was on deck number 6
Sorry.
towards the end of
3
the
or
ship.
4 is when you start to get your luggage. Your room is
Yes.
technically done. It's 3 or 4 in your luggage. My bad.
No, in luggage, we did get ours about 4 o'clock. I mean, we were already one ice cream thrown in, and our luggage was sitting, in our room at that point. And so we went down. We went up to the room being on deck 6, and everybody, of course, report family thing. Everybody has to stop because we had to do a room video. Got to do it vertical and horizontal. This one, I only think I did it horizontal. So just for YouTube. But we were in an interior, and I think Casey was a little worried because being with Kenny, and we tend to overpack, and we've been cruising for so long and still overpack. I'm not sure why, but we do. So and it's a very, very nice, it's a good sized room. So we had our bed, which is up against the wall, and Kenny slept on the pull out. Really, it's the fold down couch. So during, because Disney Cruise Line is doing really 2 turn downs a day. So you got your morning one where they put the room, all nice and clean, and then fold the couch up or the couch bed up to use as a couch. And then your evening one to set it out for the third person. It's great. Then they give you little chocolates too. Oh, fantastic. So I think we ate our last one like here recently.
Don't forget
So
the towel animals.
they do fantastic. The towel animals were perfect.
They're
So
magical.
What animal
shout out,
did you
yeah.
get?
Oh, we got a elephant one day. I'm pretty sure we got an octopus. I think it was an octopus, but I'm not sure. That one was a little questionable to me. Kind of like Ted tore with the water there. We also got a pirate for Pirates Night. We'll get to that in a second, or in a few minutes. I wish I could remember why to go back to the pictures. But after we hit the room, one of my favorite times, we got to go to the sail away, as in a waving sail away party up on the pool deck. And that was pretty cool because all the characters come out. Everybody's dancing and partying. And I was about 3 ice cream cones at this point. And it was good to see the kids interact, with the characters being all excited and all that stuff. So thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed that. Tips on that one probably should get there because like you go hate before we go sail away. the muster drill. Disney Cruise Line. It's 2025. Can we get past going to the muster drill? Like, really? I think every other cruise line just has you check in to where you're going to go and then you come on. Like, do we really need to stand out there in that heat and or cold? Because think about it. You're cruising DCL in Alaska. You're standing out there in the cold for a half hour, people. Like, so after the muster drill, then you go to sail away. And then we pushed out of Galveston. Got to say goodbye to that murky brown water and cruised on into the Gulf of Mexico.
What did you think about the horns? First impression listening to them in person. Because those are emotional too.
In person, I got excited. I mean, it was really, really cool to get to hear it in person. Those suckers were loud. So, fortunately, the Magic only has the one because it's the OG ship. So, it was, I mean, that was good. And then probably got another ice cream cone after that. And we just really hung out until, thank you.
So
I'm glad somebody else was on board.
So I wanted to ask, so when you do get an earlier check-in time, you guys got one later in the day, people do tend to go to Marceline Market for their lunch. Did you guys kind of skip that?
I forget. So we don't think we did cabanas. We may have. Anyway, the buffet. Yes, go to the buffet. Start it out. Let me tell you about the buffet. I mean, every day for lunch.
Paint a picture.
Crab legs. You got shrimp. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I had like some steak slices, pork. There was some beef there that, just chop it right off and dip it in the au jus. Oh,
did they have the prime rib carving station?
They had the prime rib carving station. Gosh, that was so good. Oh. So,
and you got the chicken nuggies. Where's Laura? Laura and the chicken nuggies.
I went full on travel with my corn dog nuggets and mac and cheese, as well as eating, the steak, pasta. I'm not a seafood person, but my mom had crab legs, I think, 3 times that trip.
I am starving now. I'm starving. So, okay. So, on the topic of food, I know we're talking mainly buffet, but what were your first impressions on the buffet, like food quality and the variety?
Oh, variety, 10 out of 10. 11 out of 10 if I had to. Quality was pretty darn good. I mean, solid 5 out of 4 for let's see. One of the other things I really like, and Royal needs to step their game up, but on the back of the ship where is the buffet is, you can sit outside and watch the wake. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. We did that a number of times.
What about cleanliness?
Oh yeah, it's Disney. Absolutely, everything's being wiped down all the time. It's the dirty place to not sit long. I mean, the buffet staff comes around with water, lemonade, hello, soda products for 3 people. So they had 2. They had that going around as well. Coffee, decaf coffee. It was endless. The one thing I probably don't like overall about the buffet is for lunchtime they have very short hours on the menu. And I'm talking like 3 hours. It's not open, like Royal Caribbean, it's open pretty much 10:30 to 3:30. I'm like, no, this bad boy shut down at 2. And I mean promptly at 2 o'clock. However, on deck 10, the pool deck, there's places to get. I mean, they had Daisy's Delights, which was off on the starboard side of the ship, and it had everything from salad to cut up fruit. The watermelon was fantastic. They had soup, sandwiches, things like that. That was great. On top of that, They had, I don't remember what this other one was, 'cause it's something to do with Donald. But that one had kind of your hamburgers, your hot dogs, chicken tenders.
Is that the
They
Duck
don't
Inn
have a
Diner?
Duck-in diner. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So with that, and then they had, kind of different things. Something that rotated. First day they had Philly cheesesteaks. That was actually pretty good for it being, in the middle of the ocean there. What else did they have? I think they had some euros, or somebody would say gyros, or however you actually pronounce that word. I had those one day for lunch, but that was open from like 10:30 to 6 p.m. on most days. And they also had Pinocchio's pizza that was 10:45 to 6, and then reopened again at, I want to say, like 8:30 to midnight. Oh, that was great. But Disney needs to step up on their pizza quality, because Sbarro's, oh my gosh, the one from Royal Caribbean has been beat in pizza quality. I, I'm sorry if they just haven't beat. That's okay. Um, the I don't even know what else to talk about. I can get into, let's go into dinner. Let's talk more about food, because, why do we need to at this point, right? Disney does something different. They have what's called rotational dining. What's nice is in your app. So you download your Navigator app. Okay, as soon as you pay your deposit, you can download your Navigator app. It's Disney Cruise in the App Store. On the Navigator app, it tells you what dining room you're going to be dining in. That it tells you your table number, all that great stuff. So the first night we were in Lumiere's. This is my 2 cents. Nothing against the Disney company or anybody else's thoughts. This was mine. Lumiere's, very nice, very boring. Two, the food quality, not the best in Lumiere's. I was not. We dined there. We dined there twice, so we got to hit each dining room twice because we were on a 6 hour itinerary. I was
Did they at least have the
less than
gray stuff?
thrilled. I think so. We did not have that. What did we have? Kenny had a Mickey bar every night, because you can get those. I think I did have the gray stuff, and I can report it is delicious still. So I'm thankful for that.
If you don't believe them, ask the dishes.
Okay. Well, probably should.
You would just have to book a trip
Anyway,
on the Disney Magic.
I'm going to go back. Now, what Disney Magic just left Galveston? I think it's going to Fort Lauderdale now. I think it's coming to Houston. So, okay, so we're talking rotational dining. The second night, we were at Animators. Y'all, I cried tears on this one, and I'll explain why. So, night two, of course, we're tasting the new dining room. Guess what? Servers go with. You start building that relationship with it. A little fun. We had Cabello from South Africa and Jen from the UK. Loved them. They were fantastic. So, uh, Animator's palette is a very, well, it starts off black and white. So they have TVs up on the walls there that, it's different sketches of all of your favorite characters. Yes, Brooks, even Figment was up on the wall there for you. They had everybody up there. And then, okay, so food quality in this one, fantastic. Had some prime rib, so good. Appetizers were great. Dessert was so good. We even ordered the dessert for the table. You had to. We had a run and we got one, to just scoop up. And then I don't know what you're going to talk about. Hold on 1 sec. Yeah, just had to sneeze in the middle of talking. You didn't need to hear that. So, Animator's palette, the show starts. Then how everything's coming to color. The pictures are all coming to life, and things are happening. And then what happens after that? Well, you have Sorcerer Mickey comes out. with the theme with fantastic music, and I'm crying. Casey's crying over there. My mother's looking at us like, "Gosh, what is wrong with you two?" It's just, I don't know what it is. But so that was fantastic. Night three was Rapunzel's Royal Table. Very interactive show because you have live actors interacting with him. Food quality, fantastic. Entertainment, fantastic. Of course, Cabal and Jem followed us. They were fantastic. Nothing bad to say about Rapunzel's. Where do we go from here? I don't know. But we could talk about, you know what? Let's talk about the Kids Club. Because we did this for the first time.
Hold on, time out. Before we step away, I know, I'm sorry. Before we step away from food too far away, did you drinks, bars, lounges?
I drinks.
We want to know. There you go.
Well,
they go
and also,
hand in hand with food.
Also, before that, you mentioned Lumiere's, you mentioned Animator's Palette, but there's a third. Isn't there
He said he had nothing bad to say about Rapunzel's.
Rapunzel's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Rapunzel's
Just not too many details.
No, I mean, the theming was great. So, okay. I'm glad you there is something about that restaurant and putting kids to sleep. And it's so bad. It is so crazy because even Jem had mentioned it too. And now Kenny really didn't nap that day. And we had the 8:15 seating. If you have kids, don't do the 8:15 seating. Young kids. But not just that. So Kenny Bean 4 fell asleep at our table. The table behind us had a 12-year-old conked out. He was out. So there's something about Rapunzel's Royal
What is this voodoo magic?
I thought I was in the bayou for a second. So no, we were not. So, but honestly, and Rapunzel, Flynn, Hookland, and what's the other one with the horns and from the Snuggery Duck Lane? Where's the oven mitts? You know who I'm talking about. Thank you. Yeah. If you know
Is it
who it is, put it
Vlad
in the comments.
or something? Vlad Allen.
He likes to
Anyway.
bake. He's always baking.
Yeah.
He was always baking on this. I'm not sure what was going on. Nothing bad to say about Rapunzel's. So then we'll move on, talk about the bars and the lounges. Great places. Now, all of the food is at the back of the ship. The stern, the aft, the back part of the ship. All the entertainment is at the front of the ship. Great way to remember that. So they have a place called After Hours. Deck 3 was really 21 and up. So they had a piano bar. Really nice. A lot like the student bar if you're on very, very fancy, very elegant. I felt very out of place on that. But it was great. I mean, I had an old fashioned there and knocked the socks off you, I'll tell you what. And then, I don't remember. Gills was the pub style one. That one was really cool. Gills has a very cool backstory behind it. We might have to put a link in just because and with the Disney, there's always a story with everything. The third place, and this one was the biggest, was Fabulous. And I'm talking like, and at some point, I have enough video to do a ship tour. I just have to have time to put it together and upload it. But Fabulous is huge. Probably fit about 100 people. I mean, really, to be honest. Of course, all the bar staff and waiters and waitresses were excellent in all of these places. But that you can find on Deck 3 Forward, as Joel, our cruise director, would say, in a very deep voice. Like he was like way down. But even more. It gave me the goosebumps when we talk. But the drinks. We did indulge in a few adult beverages. Pricing on these suckers was not. They had a drink of the day, which was usually about the $6 to $7 range. Kind of sugary, so you got to be careful with those. Had a lot of great beers on tap. To be honest with you, I love me some Shiner. They had that on top. Which, y'all, if you are a draft beer drinker, get the souvenir beer cup, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the normal cups, they charge you for 16-ounce beer. However, the beer souvenir ones are not 16 ounces. Oh, no, sir or ma'am. They are 20 ounces. So you are paying the price of a 16-ounce beer, but you're getting 20 ounces if you have the souvenir cup. Now, you have to buy the souvenir cup, and that's $17.99. But just do it. It'll be okay. On top of that, you can bring 6 cans, 12-ounce cans, and 2 bottles of wine on board. So what did Kelton do? Kelton went out and bought a 6-rack from the local HEB, kept that in my room refrigerator, and it's actually a refrigerator, not a cooler, actual refrigerator. And so I would just take, when I'm in the room, pop one of those bad boys open, drink around the room, head on out for some fun. It was a great time. So you can always do that too.
Yep, which you can't do in other cruise ships.
Not alcohol.
You can do wine and you can do bubblies.
Champagne.
So, like champagne. But beer, 6-pack beer, this is per person. You can't do that on other cruise ships. So, I know that that's always like, when I tell my first time Disney Cruise Line clients that they can do that, like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. And so that's kind of the bars and all. And there are not a lot of bars on the ship because it's Disney Cruise Line geared more towards families, but there are enough to get you by. This is not a booze fest. So along with that, because we all know you're on a cruise, you do want some time away from. You love your family dearly, but we all need some time away from the kids. If you have kids, give me an amen. Give me that amen. Okay. We do need some time away from the kids. The kids club is fantastic. Cast members in the kids club. Brooks Ellie would have had an awesome time in there. I mean, like characters would randomly show up in the kids club. Loved it. Kenny enjoyed himself. Now look to this. If you're nervous about it, I get it. We were too. But they do track the kids in the kids club so of course we all have the magic band plus the new magic bands. So Kenny had his. If your child does not have one, they will give your child one for a lovely refundable cost of $25. Now you're asking, how can it be refundable? Disney doesn't refund anything. I know, but they do on this. You can do one of two things. At the end of the trip, you can return the magic band to the kids club and they take that $25 off your room charge. Wham bam, don't have to worry about that. Or if you want a souvenir, you can take it home. They charge you the $25 and you're good to go. But what's nice about the magic band and the RFID is when you go to take your son or daughter out of the kids club, on their computer, they can ping that magic band or something like that and know exactly where they are in the, either in the Oceaneers Club or the Oceaneers Lab. So Kenny being 4 could go into 2 places. And that part was nice. On the other side of that, if they are ready to be picked up, because that happened, we were actually sitting in the mixology class that we had booked. All 4 of us, so myself, my parents, and Casey, all got a message on our Navigator app saying Kenny wants to be picked up from the Oceaneers Lab, and we're like, that's cool. So they can do that as well. And I'm really like backtracking. I'm all over the place here because I have my iPad up, but there are no notes because this is for next week's episode. So doing the best I can. When you go to set them up with the kids club activity cast members, first off, they have you put on your navigator app before you board the ship. You will fill out the kids club activity waiver stuff and all of the terms and conditions, and then you get to choose uh, like a magic word. I forgot what they called it, but it's like a magic word, and that is the word
Like
that
a
you will
pin or
tell the cast
something,
members.
right?
It's kind of a pin, but it's not a 4-digit. It's actually a word. On the magic, it was a
Your
word
password.
password. And so uh, the kids club cast member will ask you, well, so what's the password, the magic word, something like that. And so you have to give that to them. No big deal. Along with that, when you're filling out those terms and conditions, you can choose who you can check or who can check the kids in and out of the kids club. So for us, since it was going to be easier on us, it was both myself and Casey and then my parents as well. So whenever Kenny was done with the kids club, all four of us would get a message. So the other thing with the kids club, and I want to make this very clear, they do have an open house multiple times in the day, multiple days on the itinerary. Disney keeps the kids safe. So if the Oceaneer Club had an open house, all of the kids that were checked in prior to the open house would be moved to the Oceaneers lab and vice versa. So that keeps the kids in control of the kids club cast members. I thought that was fantastic because I did not know about an open house. One day we checked him into the club and he was ready to be picked up from the lab. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So that's how we figured that out. The kids club was open pretty late, to be honest with you. And it was free. 3 and up is free. The only charge is an infant, and that's in the nursery. And I don't remember what that one's called. But
It's a
that's
small
okay.
world nursery.
Yes, it's a small world nursery. I don't have an infant, so I wouldn't know. So all of the kids from I want to say it was 9 down to it's a small world nursery is all on deck 5. Now, fun fact about deck 5, because it's the kids' deck. When you get on deck 5, you will realize that, oh dear, that ceiling is rather small. Disney actually designed it that way. It's crazy. So the kids don't feel as small, I guess. That's kind of how they put it on the cruise tour that we did. So we talked food, we've talked lounges, we've talked kids club. I want to touch on characters real quick, then we'll go into the itinerary. Characters would roam, y'all. We turned the corner one day and hot dog, there was Cinderella. Walking around, walking down the hallway, getting there, almost ran right into her. So we talked to her a little bit. She did ask, she was looking for uh, Gus and, oh, help me out. I can't remember.
Jacques. Gus, and
Yeah,
Jacques.
thank you. Yes. Uh, so they
Goes,
stay in
goes.
character. I mean, on top of Cinderella, Mickey was walking around. We saw Stitch, Goofy, and Max were out, and they would just wander the decks. So you never know who you will see out walking around. Character meet and greets were all over the place. Usually in the Centrum there, Mickey, Minnie, I'll say the Fab Five, Chip and Dale. Uh, there were the fact of even Marvel, Spider-Man, Thor, Captain America was there, Captain Jack Sparrow and Pirate Knight. Uh, the princesses met down there. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I am surprised to hear you
So,
had Marvel characters.
yeah,
Since they have
a
Marvel
lot of
Day
them.
at Sea, I'm surprised.
Well, I mean, and that is true. It's a very valid point.
Right?
Let's talk now before we go into itineraries again. We're gonna pivot another way. entertainment kind of activities, and that type of thing. They do have Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique on board. If that's something you want to book, that is an extra cost. That will be booked as well in your Navigator app. So make sure to talk to your travel agent about that one. And just in Disney fashion, they do not skimp on entertainment. First off, you have Pirates Night, which is a huge pirate party on deck 10 and 11 with the characters and your entertainment staff and Mickey flying over on a zip line across the pool and fireworks at sea, which only Disney Cruise Line does, all the way to different activities while on our cruising days, or even in ports where you could, Casey drew Mickey Mouse. We built a 3D character there. Oh, we love trivia. Everybody loves trivia. There's trivia. We had somebody there from born and raised in Austin, so there were line dance classes. That was easy. And then on top of that, we're going into our Broadway style shows. So we had, people remember, there was
Tangled?
Tangled was fantastic. That was that. I wouldn't say that was my favorite, but that was a gosh darn good one. And I wish I could remember the one that we saw on the third night. But this show on the third or the last show has been
You have
Disney.
You have Tangled the musical, Twice Charmed, an original twist on the Cinderella story, and Disney Dreams, an enchanted classic.
Twice Charmed Casey and my mom saw. I didn't have to get her input. And then so what was the third one?
Disney Dreams.
Yeah, okay. That one, that was the big one. That would make it cry. Because it just touches on, Peter Pan and this young little girl host, and it hits all the movies from Aladdin to Ariel to Frozen with Elsa and Anna, and I want to say it was Mary Poppins.
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. Oh, I'm telling you, it was. And
Pinocchio.
The finale was so good, y'all. It was just strongly recommended. So if you have the late dining, the 8:15 dining for us, you see the 6 o'clock show, and then vice versa if you have the early dining. On top of that, we had a comedian, a ventriloquist. We had somebody doing magic and illusions like that. The entertainment was top tier to say the least, which I'm not surprised with it being Disney. So that was fantastic. Itinerary. I think that's really it on this one. 4 cruising days, 2 days in port. We stopped at Grand Cayman first. I was excited for this one strictly for the tender boats. I have not tendered in years, y'all. So the tender boat process was simple. The priority people were the ones who had booked excursions early in the morning. We got up. We didn't have any excursions. My parents did. We got up, probably hit the tender boats about 9:30, 10 o'clock. It's a lot of fun. So you go down to deck one, you cross over into the tender boats. So you are just smack dab in the middle of the water in the Grand Cayman, anchored, of course. You get on the boat. Boat takes you over to the Grand Cayman. You do your thing, your excursion. You get back on the boat. The tender boat, come back to the ship. It made for great pictures. I got some great pictures of the magic sitting there. Beautiful. It was a gorgeous day. Oh, it really beat the crap weather we were having in Texas at that point in Houston. The next port of call was Cozumel. We took Cozumel, but there's plenty to do from Mr. Sancho's to any of the other resorts, going on a ferry catamaran, excursion, or any other excursion that you would wish. Plenty to do right there in port as well. We just stayed on the ship, watched a movie on the television on deck number 10, and just had a great time. And of course, we took day to come back to Galveston, and I cried because I knew I was coming back. So that's really all I can touch on my first Disney cruise. That's obviously not.
No, you gotta talk to us about what you thought about the pool, the ship pool, and their aquadunk slide. What were your impressions on those things?
The aquadunk slide, I've heard, is not it did not have a very long line most of the time because it drops. It drops in. A lot of people don't like that. I'm not a fan of them, so I didn't do it. Didn't really have a long line. I do know for a lot of the reefers, Disney does end up taking that off and putting on whatever the new one is that's on the Wonder right now. But the pool itself, pool's small. It is very small. It gets very crowded on sea days. Keep that one in mind. But what is nice if you have young kids, there is a smaller section on the aft part of the ship. And the water is maybe a foot deep, well, with the lifeguard there and everything. So, and it's kind of catered towards kids that are like three to four up to about 9. And the lifeguards were very good at keeping, control of the and making sure that no older kids were getting in there because it was made specifically for them. And then they had a nice little toddler section as well, where it was just Huey, Dewey, and Louie spraying water at each other.
The Aqualung.
So, yep, that part was nice. Kenny had a great. We spent a lot of time there.
Did you check out the Wide World of Sports in the upper deck?
We did. Kenny wanted to play basketball, so you got a basketball court up there. And then, of course, foosball and ping pong. It does get very windy when you're not within the glass, but we played a couple of rounds. I did show my dad how us millennials do it in ping pong, and then he wiped the floor with me on foosball. So that was always fun. Kenny did love playing some foosball as well. Nothing, anything about spinning some guys in a case. So Wide World of Sports was cool. I do have photos and videos of Vibe and The Edge, which are the kind of the older teen clubs that they have. Pretty cool. One was kind of like Nautilus themed. That was cool. Good old 20,000 Leagues right there. What am I missing?
The movie theater, the Buena Vista Theater.
Buena Vista Theater on Deck 5. We did not see a movie. However, I did go in and watch a really cool documentary on Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. That was pretty cool. The theater is nice. Probably sits about, I probably think about it, sits about 75 people, 200 people. It's pretty big in there. And it's set up like a grand theater.
So you have Cabana, that's like your your buffet area. You had lunch and you had breakfast there. Did you ever have brunch at any of the sit-down locations rather than just having dinner?
We were going to, but we never did. Lumiere's usually had breakfast in the morning. That was one thing I wanted to do, but never got the chance to.
What'd you think of breakfast at Cabanas?
I liked it. Honestly, scrambled eggs were not as scrambled as they should have been. Making waffles were great. Bacon was always fresh. They do have churro waffles on the last sea day.
I have yet to try
it. 4 of those. They were delicious.
One day. Okay. I'm not upset or anything.
What about the fireworks at sea?
It's about a 5-minute show. If you are thinking it's going to be like watching Happily Ever After behind Cinderella's castle, you would be wrong. It is not, but it is still really cool because they do put it to music with a lot of pirate-themed colors. It's still really cool, y'all.
Well, what about you mentioned
one that does it.
So you mentioned Pirate Night. We haven't really covered that.
Everybody was all dressed in their pirate vest, including Mickey and Minnie and Donald. So they put on a really great pirate show, and they brought some of the the teens and the kids out to dance on stage and do different things. Then Captain Hook and Mr. C all come in and all their pirate friends to take over. And then that's when Mickey saves the day as he ziplines from one funnel to the next funnel, drops down, and defeats Captain Hook and saves the planet. It was really cool. I'm not sure how else to put it. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot. Kenny had a really good time.
Well, I like hearing it from like a first timer's perspective. Yes, you're a former cast member who loves shows anyways, but you know, I want people to know this is fantastic for families, for kids, but it's also great for adults. I mean, they'll put rock music and it's not just Disney tunes all the time. And you've got early, yeah.
No, you're right, but I want to put it is not just for kids. Like I said, my parents in their mid-60s, this is their third one. The first two, they did not go with us. They didn't go with us or their grandson or my brother and his fiance or, my sister and her boyfriend. They did it by themselves and even dressed up for Pirate Night. Lord, this is the same parent, my dad, who refused to wear matching shirts. So
Disney will do that to you.
Disney will do that. So, and everybody, Brooks, when I say dressed up for pirate, I mean like full on. You saw, and I mean, there were some quality Pirate Night costumes on that deck that night. It is for everybody, y'all. Everybody.
I love that. Okay, so a few more questions for you. Going kind of again back to that first impression, being you're a frequent cruiser, but not a Disney Cruise Line frequent cruiser. What else stood out to you? So we talked about the venues, but what was it like walking through the different decks and seeing some of the different artwork that Disney has? How did that make you feel? What did you see? Did something stood out to you? Was it just different?
I was on cloud nine the entire time. I mean, Disney does everything for a reason. So when you're walking between the decks, the carpet's changing, the music is changing, the aroma in the air is changing even at that point. So there is that mix as well. I mean, the grandness that centrum is, and then you have Captain Mickey down with the ship's wheel as you would walk in. So it was grand and elegant all in one. I mean, the first impression was wow. It really was wow.
What about understanding firsthand the value of a Disney cruise? Because let's be real, a lot of people get sticker shock value, but then they don't realize that there's so much that is included in that, and it's the price is up front rather than a lot of these other cruise lines, it's not. And then there's a lot that you end up having to add down the line, and then it's like, oh, well, it ends up being pretty similar to Disney Cruise Line prices. This is coming from travel agents who run a lot of quotes.
It does. The one thing I like about DCL, about Disney Cruise Line, is your deposit is refundable all the way up to your pay in full date. Number one, fantastic. But just like the others, you can pay your prepaid gratuities prior to pay in full and travel insurance as well, which I usually always recommend, especially during hurricane season. But when it comes to pricing, you got to look at. I mean, you got to look at. Yes, your ocean view verandas are going to be more expensive than your interior rooms. But
surprisingly enough, hold on. Surprisingly enough, I just ran a few quotes for clients going in May where the freaking veranda was cheaper than the interior and the ocean view. I am not even kidding you.
Book it, baby. Yeah, you gotta book it.
But yes, veranda typically is.
when you look at, you can't compare Disney Cruise Line to theme parks. It's not apples to apples. It is apples to pineapples. But when you look at everything, Your room and board is covered by the cost. Your food is covered by the cost. Your entertainment is covered by
Exceptional
the cost.
entertainment.
So you know exactly what you're getting at. Yeah, if you're a soda drinker, it's included. When you go to the parks, you gotta pay for your room and board. Well, let's start with that. Then if you actually want to go to the theme park, you have to pay for your ticket. Is it a base ticket to the park hopper? Is it the water park? The water park or the sports?
Do you get Lightning Lane or not?
So, and then you're adding that in. So if meeting characters is your big thing, go on Disney Cruise Line. Yes, there were some that we had to wait 10 to 15 minutes for. At the same time, you could see everybody. They're all there on the ship. I always had a hard time justifying going on a Disney Cruise Line vacation. It is not that hard to justify for me anymore. If Casey and I will go, because we've talked about it, we might start doing 3 and 4 night, 5 night itineraries. We will go back to Royal, just her and I, because that'll be our vacation. We do like to indulge in the adult beverages more than others, so that's kind of where Disney Cruise Line does. We do different things. For us as a couple, we are more focused and geared towards Royal. But cruising with Kenny and a family event, Disney Cruise Line, hands down, it was great. And truly, so if you're looking for that tech, trying to figure out what you're going to do, don't make Disney Cruise Line out of your bucket of ideas. You really ought to take a good
Don't
look.
rule it out.
Don't rule it out. Yeah, go get that.
Okay. I want to ask you, what were things that you packed, for instance, that you said, I'm so happy I packed this, or things that, wow, I wish I would have packed this. I know one of the biggest things that people don't know about is magnetic hooks. So you can add, extra storage space, basically, to your rooms that are already spacious. One of the things that Disney does fantastic, better than any other cruise line, fight me about it, is that they don't compromise stateroom space. They will, even if the ships get bigger, they don't make the rooms smaller to fit in more rooms. You stay in an interior room, but you stay in an ocean view or higher, you get a split bathroom. That means you get a bathroom with a sink and a shower, and then you get another bathroom with a sink and a toilet, which, that is priceless at one point. Where was I going with this?
Especially with all those buffets.
Yeah.
Book your rooms close to the bathrooms and hallway. When I book my own trips, I am always making sure that my room is maybe 5 to 10 staterooms from a public bathroom on the deck. That's just how
That's like a pro tip right there.
There might be an emergency.
That is a pro tip.
I will say, yeah.
So I was saying packing.
Quality,
that's what we were talking about.
Packing
and room quality
are a big one, because that's where I would hang my hats, our lanyards. You could swimsuits. We hung all of our swim, because that little line, that shower is small. It doesn't matter how tiny the shower is small. You don't need to be trying to shower and swat your swimsuit away, from your face. And wash your elbow there.
What are you talking about?
But there is. Oh, if you could only see Brooks. That's right. Try shaving in that shower. Getting popping your it doesn't work. I mean, you can shower and brush your teeth at the same time, and
and that's especially important if you're staying in like an inside or an ocean view room. But if you're staying, for instance, in a veranda, one of the things that people should look into bringing and packing are big clips, so that you can try and hook your clothing that's wet onto the chairs on the deck and not risk them flying, which does
That is
happen.
true. But yeah, room space, plenty of places to put things. I mean, you didn't run out. The only thing we ran
Even under the bed.
You can always ask. Yep, you can always ask. So yeah, what else you got?
Safety. I know that I have a lot of clients that ask about safety. For instance, even when you're out on the decks, you have little kids, you have Kenny. What does the railing system look like? Is it something that you're like, oh my god, don't get close?
No, they have the regular rail that all cruise ships have, and then they added glass on top of it. I was very happy, very surprised.
Good, I'm glad.
You would really have to try to jump to go overboard.
Disney takes safety seriously, and they take cleanliness very seriously. And I just really want to emphasize, and I'm sure now with your experience, you can also agree with me, just like the exceptional, and I mean truly exceptional, service from the crew members. It is unbelievable how they remember you, how they treat you. Everyone, I mean, Disney's, well, it depends on when you go. Disneyland is known for like their happy, the motto, happiest place on earth. When I tell you on my experiences with Disney Cruise Line, that is pure joy. Like, everyone seems happy all the time. It is contagious.
Everybody.
It is contagious. Everyone's happy. There isn't people fighting in line to see a character. There isn't people complaining about their food. I mean, not that you see it if it happens, I'm sure. But, like, did you complain about your food?
Not to the cast members. It wasn't worth
complaining about. But I'm just saying, like, everyone's so happy to be there. And the energy, that's literally all you feel the entire time. And I just think it's really fantastic. And, did you feel like you had like a good balance between the amount of activities, things that were free, things that you can purchase? Were you bored on the ship? Do you feel like if you decided not to get off on a port that you had enough things to do that you could see on the Navigator app, so on and so forth?
There was plenty of stuff. I mean, like port days, we really utilized the pool. That was the big one, because the pool was, with the pool being so small. When Kenny and I got in, there were maybe 2 or 3 other people in it, so it was very nice. So if you're not getting off the ship on a port day, go back. That's your pool time. And I didn't even touch on the cove, which is the adults area. So that was fantastic as well. So yeah.
Okay, so Brooks, do you have any more questions? If not, I have one more question to kind of wrap up.
No.
Well, you said that you would absolutely go on it. You say it's worth it. As a first timer, what's your biggest takeaway that you would say to someone who's on the fence about going on a Disney Cruise Line?
The conversation would kind of like, what do we choose? What's on their docket for vacation? If we're talking, hey, we may want to cruise, Norwegian or MSC. Okay, well, let's look at a Disney, or is it between Disney Cruise and either going to Disney World or Disneyland? Because I used to be one of those people. Yeah, I want to do a Disney cruise, but it's so expensive. Okay, let's compare it. Let's compare, everything side by side. I didn't realize it until I booked this cruise that we went on. So don't cut Disney Cruise Line. That's probably my biggest thing.
And you would go on it again. Well, not that ship, but you would definitely go on a Disney Cruise Line.
Well, I would full on go on the Magic again. I mean, I might have to, but that's all I think Galveston's going to get for a while. So I would absolutely do the Disney Magic again.
I think that says a lot. So
just because the ship's old, it's not the ship.
Well, it was refurbished in 2013.
So it's even cleaner. But now I've also seen some Royal Caribbean ships refurbished within 10 years and still looking good.
Well,
So,
Disney has a
they,
way, their Imagineers have a way of creating things to be timeless in a way that
they
maybe
do a
other
good job.
companies don't do. Um, it, you're battling a smaller ship versus a bigger ship when you're talking about the Magic versus, let's say, the Treasure that just came out.
Mhm.
But, you know, there's no hidden fees. You can have your kid, unless they're in the nursery, you can have your kid all day long in the kids club for 100% free. You don't get that in other cruise line ships. You don't. I've had this conversation plenty of times. You know this, loyal to Royal, even Royal Caribbean, they
After a
have time
certain
frames.
time, after a certain time with Royal, they start charging. I want to say it's like, I think it's after the last seating. I think it's after last seating.
And we didn't,
Yeah.
we didn't even talk about like there's multiple locations where you can get ice cream on board. Plus, you can order room service to your room at any hour, and it comes directly to your, whether it's breakfast, lunch,
Free.
dinner, late night snacks, all free. If there's something on the menu that if something's not on the menu that you want, I say cast members, the crew members will do whatever to bring it to you. You know, they go above and beyond, and I think for if I were to say to anyone who's on the fence or just doesn't, like you said, Kelton, don't discount it, but sometimes it just takes for you to go to truly understand the value. And
That
it
is
does
100% true.
you see the price and you're like, ooh, but you go on and you're like, no, this makes sense. Like I will happily pay this. Think about it this way: people keep going to the Disney parks, and no offense, but the price. I mean, you shouldn't be offended, but hey, the price keeps going up, and you're still going back because why? Because you know it's worth it. That's kind
That
of how
is,
I see a Disney cruise.
there really is sticker shock when you look at it. But like you said, when you're on either talking to a travel agent or on, you know, disneycruise.disney.go.com, when you see that price does not change all the way to the end, to the checkout. And it has your taxes and port fees added in. And it doesn't, unlike some of the other ones where it does change. So they're very upfront with their pricing. So I'm very happy, very
And
pleased.
you get your value's worth. Kelton, thank you so much for sharing what your first experience on the Magic was. So this is like a first
Absolutely.
timers tip on a Disney cruise line, but like the Disney Magic edition. Because I feel like it'll be different
Pretty
if it's
much.
like if it's a different generation of Disney cruise line ships. But what I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to Brooks and Jennifer going on a Disney cruise line and getting
Yeah.
their first impressions on their Disney cruise ships. All right, people in the audience, in the Mouse Ears universe, help me and Kelton convince Brooks and Jen to take the leap and go on a Disney cruise line.
Well,
And
Kelsey's
if
already said that she wants to try to go on one next year.
Well, then we gotta
Yeah.
book it soon because the sooner you book, the cheaper the price. And you have wonderful agents at Fairy Tale Journeys Travel who can help navigate your Disney Cruise Line questions and book it for you for
Help
100% free.
navigate the Navigator app. Yep.
There you go.
And you get that onboard credit too. So
Oh yeah,
I think that's kind of, I mean, I'm giving a lot of last
insight.
tips. I mean, you know, there's so much, and we could probably talk for another hour and a half to just really dig deep into Disney Cruise Line. I mean, it really is. Any last minute things before we wrap it up? Fantastic.
Overall, it seems like
Fantastic.
you're happy you went. You don't regret it. You would go back again. You definitely see the value. And as far as a family vacation goes, it is premium quality through and through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Well, folks, that just about does it for this
Oh,
week's
we have our trivia question.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Thank you.
No,
yes,
sir.
There we go.
All right. If you remember the trivia question, what is Donald Duck's middle name?
No idea.
At
Tell
one
us.
time, I knew it. So tell us.
Is the very common name Fluttenroy.
I did not know
Fluttenroy.
this. No, I don't even think I could say that. Fluttenroy?
Yep.
How do you spell that?
I'll put it in the comments.
Fantastic. Thank
Exactly
you.
like it's pronounced.
Yep.
I can barely pronounce it.
To the letter.
Yep.
Great
Take it
trivia
away,
question,
Kelton.
Brooks.
That was good, Brooks. Okay. Now let me re-edit this and back up. Now that does it for this week's episode of the Mouse Ears Podcast. Don't forget to join our Mouse Ears Podcast Facebook discussion group and our Facebook page. You can also follow us on TikTok, X, which is now Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date. Well, really, it's Twitter that is now X. I said that backwards. Stay up to date with all things travel, but mostly Disney. If you're interested in having a Fairy Tale Journeys agent book your next trip, visit fairytalejourneys.com and let them know I said podcast sent you. Lastly, and we hope you do, if you enjoyed this weekly episode of Mouse Ears Podcast, we'd love for you to leave us a review at wherever you listen. Appreciate y'all for letting me talk about Disney Magic Trip. So until the next episode, great week. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.